Hello everybody, welcome to Eco Engineering channel. This is your host Chia Leilipur. This video is the second video of learning how to make communication between Telegram robot and an expert advisor. If you haven't seen the first video, which is the basic video, I put the link here and you can watch it. This video is advanced video. In the last video we learned how to send a data from expert advisor to Telegram robot, and then the Telegram robot shows this data to the user. First, for example, expert advisor decide to send data to the robot, and then we send it through the Telegram server to the robot, and robot show it to the user. But now in this video we learn how to, for example, send a command from the user. For example, start command, help command, open orders, how many open orders we have, or send a buy, or send a sell, or basically we call it commands, and we use this backslash for sending the commands, and which the robot send these commands in the JSON format, which it stands for JavaScript object notation, to the expert advisor. What JSON format is actually is not important for us in this video, but it's important to know that in this JSON format it says that, for example, the command is sell and it has been sent by the user with this user ID. It sends it at that time. For example, some data is related to these commands, and then expert advisor, which has some code in it, decide based on the commands and what we have programmed for it, and send its feedback to the robot, and robot send it back to the user. And this user can be several users, not one user. So the robot must realize that which user has sent which commands, and then it must return the feedback of the expert advisor for exactly the same user. This is very important, and we learn how to do that. Remember that the code which is written here in the expert advisor actually is used to program the robot, and we can do it with PHP language or Python, or in this case we use MQL language to do that. But for PHP and Python there are too many sources with this regard, but unfortunately we don't have as many videos and resources for MQL and how to program a robot with the MQL language. There is an article with regard to making communication between Telegram robot and expert advisor, which is written by one of the MetaTrader employee. I will leave you the link to this article in the descriptions, and you can see it in this video too. Everything that I am going to teach you is based on this article, and this article is very complete. You must read it completely by yourself too. If this is your first time watching our channel, I would really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button and click on the bell, so whenever we upload new video you can receive a notification. And if you have any suggestions, please leave me a comment. I will read them and consider them for upcoming videos. I hope you enjoyed this video and stay with me to the end. So the first thing that we want to do is to access this article. To do so, this is the easiest way to access this article. You can easily search for it in the Google too, but I prefer to use MetaTrader to search for it. In the search section of the MetaTrader, you should just simply search for Telegram, and then click on Telegram and press enter. Here we would have access to all documents related to Telegram, and then click on the articles. And the first article that is appeared here is how to create bot for Telegram in MQL5. You must click on it. It is written that it is for MQL5, but in the descriptions and in the article it is written that it can be used for both MQL4 and MQL5, and I use it for MQL4 here. But it can be used exactly the same for MQL5 too. I click on it. This article is very important, and I teach you everything based on this article. Now only go to the down, all the way down, and there is a file, you must download it, and we use this file to program our robots through MQL language. The file is here. This Telegram zip, download it. So now I have downloaded this Telegram file. I extract it. Here I have both expert and includes. The expert is actually the codes which is written in the article. You can use them, but what is important for us is this includes. I copy all of them. I copy all of these includes and add them to the includes of our MetaTrader. For this purpose, I click on File, Open Data Folder. In MQL4 section include, I paste all of them. Because I have already pasted them, it asks me whether you want to replace them or just, for example, keep both of them. I want to replace them, but if this is your first time, you wouldn't see this message. I copy and replace all 4 of them. Now we can use these includes in our code. So now that we have added this file to MetaTrader, I opened MetaCode language editor from here, and in the include section now I have all of these 4 files: common, JSON, and Telegram. I opened all of them. And for the first time, I compile all of them. Remember that common, and JSON are used in the Telegram include. And in our codes, from now, we do not use common, and JSON anymore. We just add the Telegram include to our expert advisor and use this Telegram, which the code it contains some classes. What are classes actually? You don't need it now, but we use this Telegram include in our expert advisor. I close after compiling them. I close all of them and create an expert advisor, and the name is Telegram test. Telegram tests. Okay. Next, and finish. This is our Telegram test expert advisor. In the previous video, I taught you how to create a robot in Telegram. Here I don't explain how to do that. I just simply show you, and we create a robot very fast. Here I use BotFather to create a robot and press create new bot, and the name is, for example, expert advisor bot. The username, for example, can be expert advisor to Telegram, and as I taught you, the username should end to bot. I click it yes, and it is created. Now we can have access to this bot by searching its ID. Here is our bot, and from BotFather I can have access to its API, which is very important. Now that we have API, we go back to our Expert Advisor. Here, again, I explain a little more about on init, on the init, and on tick. On init section code would be run only once whenever the Expert Advisor is activated. On the init actually run the code whenever the Expert Advisor is closed, just once. And on tick would be run by every price tick. Whenever the price changed, this section would run once. So the next thing that we do is to call the Telegram include. To do so, we use sharp include, these two signs, and add the name of Telegram here. And now we can have access to the codes which is written in the Telegram include. And if I open the article and come all the way down here it says that we have several methods. What are methods? We learned them in Python completely, but now just imagine that there are some functions, predefined functions, which we can use them. Get me, get update, send photo, for example, send chat action, all of them. But to have access to these methods, first we must write these two lines of code. For example, to have access to bot.token code, if I just here write, for example, bot.token, I can see anything. But if I add these two lines of code here, now if I write bot dot, I would have access to these methods. Bot.token, if I use this, I should use these two parentheses and send write the token here in a string form. I copy the token and paste it here, and I should use it actually in on init, because the first time that the Expert Advisor is run, I want to connect this Expert Advisor with the Telegram robot. So I paste it here. Now I compile it. We don't have any error, but to see whether we have error or not, here we have a get me method. The get me method returns 0 if the connection is okay, and if it returns any integer number instead of 0, it means that we have error. So I define a variable. The name is, for example, get me result, and it is equal to but dot get me, and I use comments. The get me result is plus this variable. So I compile it. So if I drag and drop it here, let's see what would we have. We must wait for a price tick. Yes, here see, the get me result is 0. It means that we are connected to this Telegram robot. Let's for example change one letter of this token to, for example, okay, and see what would happen. See, now it's not 0, it's returns some values. This value means we have error because the robot with this token is not existed. So I change it back. Now we learned how to connect to this robot. So now let's copy and paste the whole code which is written here by the writer of this article, which is one of the employee of MetaTraders. For example, here it explains what get updates do, and this is the JSON format. See, here you can see that the JSON format is, for example, update ID is here, the message, what message is sent, what commands is sent by the user, the ID of user is here, the name of the user is here, last name of the user, the username of this user, the chat ID, everything is sent based on the JSON format. So this JSON format contain all the data which we need to realize which user has sent which commands, and whenever we send our feedback, the feedback should be sent to the exact user. For this purpose we use this JSON format, and this JSON format is used in this code. Here in this section, the second section actually analyze the commands. The commands are very important. Let's copy and paste whole of this section. Here I paste all of it here. It may seem a little complicated, but it's not complicated at all. Don't worry. What is important is first this token. We must put the token with regard to our robot here. I paste it here. This is important. Here in this code, we have on init and on init, but we don't on onTick because we don't want to communicate with our robot based on the price change. We want to communicate with the robot and get the data from the robot and send the feedback to the robot in some specific intervals. For example, every 3 seconds. We want to do that. For this purpose, instead of using onTick, we use onTimer, and we set the timer time. After setting the timer time, this code which is written in the onTimer section would be run every, for example, 3 seconds. So how we have done that? The writer of this article defined in the onInit section, defined these codes. First, it applies the token to the bot, so the expert advisor would connect to the Telegram robot, and then here it define event set timer 3. It means onTimer should be run every 3 seconds, and then when it reach here, it jump to the onTimer section, and every 3 seconds this section would be run every 3 seconds. It's not actually complicated. You must read it completely by yourself, read the article by yourself, but here just get me a result. As we show you, if it's not equal to 0, it means that we have an error, and it sends a comment which is error and with the error code, and if it doesn't have any error, it comments the name of the bot, and the name of the bot can be accessed, can be reached by bot.name. And this on-timer, this section is just that. The important part is here. Here, the writer of this article has defined two different commands, and for each of these commands, it returns some feedbacks. The first one, if the command is start, it sends the message, hello world, I am bot. And if the text, the command is help, it sends this message that to this chat ID. The chat ID is used to not forget which user has sent these commands, and we must send back our feedback to the exact user. So, and if some users send help commands, it sends this message, my commands list, this, and let's compile it and see what happened. And if I drag and drop it here, see, bot name, expert advisor, Telegram bot. This is our Telegram bot, which we defined here in our Telegram. Expert advisor, Telegram, but this is the ID of our bot. So now this expert advisor is connected to our bot. If I press start, I should receive this message, because when the start command is used, I should receive hello world, I am bot, for example, or I can see hello world, I am, we can change it to I am expert advisor, Telegram robot. Very simple. And if I compile it, and here in Telegram, if I click start, I should receive this message. See, hello world, I am expert advisor, Telegram bot. Again, I can use backslash start to send commands. And if I use backslash help, I receive this message. My commands list is this message. This backslash forward slash n, it means go to the next line. See, the first message, my command list is here, and then it goes to the next line. This going to the next line is happened by this forward slash n. And if I press start again, I receive this message. So I can add another command here. Simply between these two brackets, I add another command, and it is, I just copy and paste it. I say if the command is, for example, orders total, it means return me number of open orders. I then send message to this chat ID, the chat ID regarding to the user who sent this command, and say that the number of open orders is equal to plus, let's see, order total. Let's compile it. So now if I send this command here, I should receive this message. the number of open orders is equal to 0 because we don't have any open order. But let's open an order here. For example, now I open 3 order. Now in Telegram, if I send again this command, see, the number of open orders is equal to 3. And we can easily add any commands here. For example, we can add a buy command. Whenever the text is equal to buy, send order. The next subject that is explained in this code is how to define buttons. For example, instead of sending commands by backslash like order total, here I think it's not written the same. Orders total, yes, I missed the R here. Instead of using commands like that, we can define some buttons, and the user can just, instead of writing the commands, just press these buttons. And if I copy and paste all of it here, and if I compile it, now if I just write start, I would have 3 buttons. For the first button, for the first button name is, we can for example change it to orders total. The second can be, for example, sending buy order. The third one can be sending sell order. And if I compile it again and come back here, if I press start, it would be reloaded, and now it says orders total. Let's give this orders total button some feedback. Just let's copy and paste this section here. Well, if the text is equal to M button, the button is 0. If it's equal to 0, send this message, chat ID, and exactly like the last section, the number of open orders are equal to plus orders total. If I compile it, we must have some feedback for this order total. See, if I click on it, I received this message: the number of open orders are equal to 0. So in this video we learned how to program our Telegram robot by MQL language. Everything that I taught you is based on this article, and you can learn it based on this article. Please read it completely. Having some knowledge about the Python and PHP would help you a lot, because with PHP and Python it is much more easier to program a Telegram robot and basically every other servers. In the Python I will teach you too in the upcoming videos, but for the PHP in this channel is not related to the PHP, and I wouldn't teach you by PHP, but you can search for it and learn by yourself. There are too many resources with regard to programming Telegram robot by using Python libraries or by PHP language itself. If you like this video, I would appreciate to hit the like button so YouTube algorithm will introduce us to those who are interested in this subject. I wish you have a good day. Goodbye.